it's Jana. Thanks for checking out the blog today. I'm actually sitting here with my doctor, Dr. Pamela Snook, and we're just going to answer some of the questions that we get through the website about pregnancy. If you're thinking about getting pregnant, or maybe you already are, I'm sure this is going to sound really familiar to you. Morning sickness.
One of the most common questions, always.
How do you combat morning sickness?
I tell patients basically there's like two approaches to it. So one is kind of home remedies and what you can do without medicines, and then there's medical intervention for those of us that the home remedies aren't enough for.
If your ginger pops aren't working, then maybe you could try what?
Exactly. Outside of that, you just want to avoid triggers. So some people, it's a certain fragrance will trigger them, or being in a crowded room will trigger them.
Whenever I got hungry,
Absolutely.
I would get really nauseous. So that's why the crackers were always a good deal to keep around, because then I wouldn't be having an empty stomach.
Right. And I hear patients a lot of times, if they brush their teeth too soon after eating, then that will kind of get that gag reflex going, and that will certainly trigger their morning sickness.
Such pleasant memories. Speaking of eating, are there any foods that you really should just avoid, take off the list while you're pregnant?
The main foods to avoid are those that are basically undercooked. Undercooked meats is a main thing.
No sushi.
No sushi.
No sushi.
Unfortunately. And I didn't notice, I thought it was pretty interesting that swordfish is one of the things that you're not supposed to eat because it's high in mercury.
Oh.
And there are other kingfish and mackerel.
So not just salmon and tunas and sushi fish, just pretty much
No fish. To keep it simple for patients, I always say just avoid fish. Give it up for 9 months.
No.
And then revisit it whenever you're done having the baby. So.
Oh yeah, cheese. There's some of the soft cheeses that I was kind of been hearing to avoid. What is that?
Yep, it's basically unpasteurized cheeses you want to stay away from because the bacteria isn't safe for pregnancy.
Oh, bacteria. Okay, that's easily to
And
stay away from.
The other one is actually, there's a bacteria, believe it or not, that's in raw meats, and also a bacteria that can be consumed by your lovely pet kitty.
Oh.
That's why you're not supposed to, you're not supposed to change that litter box.
Oh, I thought that was just being lazy.
Nope. And I say to my women, I say, this is your 9 months of freedom, and hubby gets to change the litter box, especially if the cat's an indoor-outdoor cat.
Now, I know you're supposed to you're supposed to eat tons of fruits and vegetables, but is there a rule to follow with that as well?
Absolutely. Make sure that you wash them, completely wash them.
Like the brush and everything, or just
a general wash is okay.
Okay. Something else that we'd probably love to avoid for 9 months, but we're not supposed to: exercise.
You shouldn't avoid exercise.
No, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. And we encourage women to maintain a healthy exercise regimen. In general, there's big agencies that kind of look at, what should we be telling our patients? And in general, it's 150 minutes a week. And I'm
so under that line.
Right? I calculated, I was like, 150 minutes, let me calculate that out. And I was over 7 days. It's either 20 minutes a day for 7 days.
Ooh.
Yeah. Or, or 30 minutes a day for 5 days, so.
I might be close to that.
Yeah.
I do a 30-minute walk. I hear that's
brisk
good.
walk is great.
It's good for swollen feet.
Absolutely.
They said it's good to keep you in shape for labor. And some other recommendations about exercise, like maybe some that you should avoid.
Well, the main thing is you want your heart rate not to go over 140.
140 is the magic number.
The magic number. And then, I always say, hey, your body is going to be a self-regulating process here. You're going to get too uncomfortable. And so when it's getting too strenuous, you're not going to want to keep going. You're going to want to take a break. And so that's kind of Mother Nature's way of helping you out and regulating.
That's a good time to lay off the weightlifting?
Absolutely. But, some light weights, high reps, always encouraged.
I've mentioned these, big, massive weights. Now, what about like skiing? I know it's winter.
Right.
Probably not the best idea.
Not the best idea. Contact sports in general or high-risk sports are not good, okay? I think it's interesting, and it is out there that, ladies, you should not be scuba diving in pregnancy. So give it up. 9 months.
They say you should spend time in the water, but maybe.
Water's nice for buoyancy. It is. Water aerobics are great, but not scuba diving.
Well, you deal with many pregnant women, not just myself. What are some of the questions that you get by first-time mommies when they come in? It's right off the bat. Are there any questions that you get a lot of?
When I'm asked this, I think of two things come to mind. The first one is first-time moms really are scared that they're going to misinterpret labor, that they're going to go into labor and not know because they've never experienced contractions. My answer is you will absolutely know when you're in labor. There is no question about it.
That's funny.
And they're relieved. They're relieved to hear that. And the most common question I get is, Dr. Snook, when do you think I'm going to go into labor?
because you're supposed to magically know that.
Absolutely. And I say, you know what? If I could do that, I would be retired. I'd be on a gypsy shop down the road and be able to predict when people are going into labor, and I can't. I say, we plan and Mother Nature laughs, so we just have to be patient.
Lots of great answers and many more questions. I'm sure you've got some. I still do. So if you would like to email them in, hit me up at jana@XL106.7.com, and we'll sit down and go over some questions. But remember, it's all about talking to your doctor and getting all the information for your healthy pregnancy. So thanks for checking us out.